Okay. So let us first understand what is the definition. In fact, it's a revision. What is the definition of normalization? Normalization is a process of decomposing bad or unsatisfactory relations into the good or ideal relations. So let us see how this decomposition uh, is based on different rules. So we have to learn these rules and understand the concept behind the rules, and then we have to explain or try to understand it with example, and then you have to apply it in your own projects when you will do it in the sixth semester. In fact, I had told you to take up a small project. I think I had told A division students, even you can take up a mini project. You can start a case study and do that. Anyways, so let us start with the revision of the normal forms. The first normal form, we have already seen the definition. It disallows. The first normal form disallows multi-valued attribute, then it does not allow composite attribute, and it does not allow the nested relation. So we have seen the example in the first normal form. We have seen the example of a relation, that is which example we had seen? We had seen the example of a department table wherein we had seen department locations was one attribute in which we had uh, multiple values. So whenever we want to have a first normal form, one sec, there is some disturbance. I want someone unmuted so that I can understand that you all are, I mean, I am reaching you. Manisha, you are unmuted.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So let us start quickly. Just a minute. I'm just shifting. Okay, can you see the screen? Word file?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So what is our first normal form? It is based on multi-valued attribute. We had seen the example. So in that we had seen the example of department table in which we, along with department number, department name, we also had department locations. And because department locations was multi-valued attribute, we had separated it. And then second normal form, what is the rule for second normalization? So anyway, we are going to repeat from the second normal form related to this particular example. Actually, previously we have seen for the second normal form, we have seen the example of employee project, and then for the third normal form, we have seen the example of employee department. Now let us see another example. Why we are discussing this example? Because we have this example is clear for understanding BCNF. So let us try to understand one example. Yesterday we have already described the case study. Uh, we will just read it once again. This case study talks about the plots which are for sale in various countries of state. Suppose that there are two candidate keys. Here you have to understand very carefully. There are two candidate keys. In this sense, what is meant by a candidate key? Or what do you mean by a primary key? The candidate keys are those attributes which are qualified to become primary key. So which are the attributes that are qualified to become primary key? Their quality is one. Uh, it is, suppose if we take a real life example, who are the people that will be nominated for the student council? For example, suppose some five people have given the name to become CR and LR, but we can't appoint all five people. So we'll be appointing one CR and one LR. But that doesn't mean that others did not have quality. There could be multiple people who may have the qualities of CR and LR. What are the qualities required? They should have a leadership quality. They themselves should be ideal in the behavior, etc. So similarly here, the same concept applies here. Suppose there is a table, and in that table we have multiple attributes. Who are the attributes that are qualified to become a primary key? All those attributes will be considered to be, they are called as candidate keys. So we all know by the definition of candidate key, the attribute which is qualified to become primary key. So what is the quality of a primary key? The quality of the primary key is the attribute value uniquely identifies the tuple. That means suppose there are some 10 tuples in a table, then that attribute value whose value is unique for each of the 10 tuple. That means the value of that attribute will not be duplicate for any two tuples. So this is the basic quality of any attribute to become a primary key. So you have to understand this concept first, that the any attribute which has this qualification, that it uniquely identifies every tuple. That means it doesn't have duplicate value for any two tuples. Such attributes are called as candidate keys. So let us understand that such attributes are also called as prime attributes. So each of the attribute which is part of this candidate key is known to be a prime attribute. You have to understand this concept first. Prime attribute does not mean primary key. Prime attribute means any attribute which is qualified to become a primary key. That means it has a quality to uniquely identify each of the tuple. In other words, the attribute whose value is unique or must be unique for every tuple, that attribute is called as a prime attribute. But among all these prime attributes, it is not that all of them can become primary key. So only one of them will become primary key, but other attributes also will not lose their quality. Their quality also exists, that they can uniquely identify a tuple. That's why in the normalization, they are given importance, and hence such attributes are known by the term prime attributes. Is it clear to you, the definition of prime attribute? Okay, so let us know which are the candidate keys. In other words, you have to understand that all these attributes are nothing but the prime attributes of this table. The table name is lots. So let us try to understand which are the overall attributes, and among those which are the prime attributes. So in this diagram, you can see that these are the attributes of the lots table. So we have property ID, we have country name, then we have lot ID or lot number, then we have area, then we have price, and then we have tax rate. So among all these attributes, which are the candidate keys? So there are two candidate keys. One is the property ID, and second candidate key is a composite attribute, composite primary key, that is the combination of country name and lot number. Now you have to understand that as per the definition of prime attributes, every attribute that is a part of primary key or that is a part of candidate key is known to be a prime attribute. So which all are the prime attributes in this? Property ID is a prime attribute, country name is a prime attribute, lot ID is also a prime attribute. And which are the non-prime attributes? Area, price, and tax rate. So these are the non-prime attributes. Now let us try to understand uh, the same example for second normalization. Now let us try to understand what this each attribute means. Property ID means there is an ID given to each of the property. Property in the sense here we are considering a plot. A plot which has a specific area that is to be sold. So each of the plot we have given it a property ID. Now, each of the plot or that particular property also has a lot number. But yesterday I had given you example that here typically we are going to consider that the lot ID is not unique for every property. The lot ID is unique within each country, but the same lot ID may exist in another country. Yesterday I had given you example of RCU. Like for example, I had told you here. So let me just explain you with that example once again quickly. So yesterday I had taken one example here. Suppose there is RCU, Rani Chennamma University. Among that we have Gokte College, that is GCC, or we also have GSS. So both are BCA colleges. So here I may have a table, simple student table. Let me take it with uh, two two attributes or two columns right now. I have roll number and then I have name of the student. Now if I take roll number 401 or 474 and then name here is Abhinandan. Now this is from GSS college. Okay. Now same thing I may have for this is from Gokte college. Now same thing I may have for GSS college here. In GSS, what will happen is I may have the same roll number 474 with some different name, or coincidentally maybe there is another Abhinandan who has the roll number 474. So this may happen that 474 roll number also exists in Gokte college and also exists in GSS college. Since roll number may be duplicate when we consider RCU, suppose when we list out the students in RCU by taking roll numbers, then there'll be a confusion when I'll call out roll number 474. There'll be a confusion which roll number 474, whether it is from Gupte College or whether it is from GSS College. So for that, of course, nowadays to solve this problem, university has also given university seat number for you. But suppose if you want to consider with these attributes only, if you want to form a primary key, then you can give like this: college name. So I'll just give it as college name and then comma roll number. So if we take this combination, then when I say here, now this roll number will be known by GCC 474 and this roll number will be known by GSS, because I am taking a combination of college name and roll number. Now there will be definitely no confusion, even if multiple colleges will have the same roll number. But even if when I will take out any of the students roll number, there will be no confusion because it is attached to the college name. Within the same college, definitely that roll number will not repeat. In Gokte college, there will be no two 474 roll numbers. It will be allotted to only one student. So when I take this combination, this also is qualified to become a primary key. So along with university seat number, this also can be a primary key. So by taking this example, we will try to relate the same example to our lots. In the lots also, similar to university seat number, we have a primary key called as property ID, which is unique for every property. But apart from that, there is one more candidate key. That is, there could be one more way of uh, identifying every tuple uniquely. So there is one more candidate key, which is a combination of country name and lot number. So when you take both these values together, as we have taken your college name and roll number, similarly, if I take country name and lot number, that will be unique for every. Got it? So overall, there are three candidate keys. Now let us see. As per the second normalization, the second normal form says that each non-prime attribute should be fully functionally dependent on the primary key. So let us see which are the non-prime attributes. So we have seen that property ID, country name and lot ID, all these are prime attributes because they are part of the primary key or they are part of the candidate key. So all three are prime attributes. Which are the non-prime attributes? The non-prime attributes are area, then there is price, and then there is tax rate. So these three are non-prime attributes. So each one we have to see whether they are fully functionally dependent on the primary key or on this particular value, on this candidate key. So let us see whether area is fixed. Area can be determined once we are given the property ID or once we are given the combination of country name and lot ID. So once we are given a combination of country name and lot ID, I can very well make out area. So this is fully functionally dependent. And then there is price. Price also is fully functionally dependent on the particular value. Now let us see. Here we have one more thing, something called as tax rate. So what we have assumed? We have assumed that the tax rate is fixed for a particular country. Tax rate is fixed for a particular country. So yesterday I had shown you that example also. I had even typed here. Clear the notations. So I will take the example of the tax rate in a particular country. So I'll just say tax. So here I have a table. Suppose here I have country name and here I have tax rate. So now suppose I have a country India, and for India the tax rate is fixed that it is going to be some 12% or 12%. Suppose this is the tax rate. Similarly for USA, suppose the tax rate is 18%. So this is the tax rate fixed for country. When this fact is there, but here what we have done? Here we have combined the tax rate along with all the other attributes in the same table. So when we take the example of this table, let us try to understand the attributes of this table. So suppose let us try to understand. We'll take another table here. Here it is property ID. And here I have country name and here I have tax rate. We are skipping other attributes for time being. Suppose property ID is P01, then it is in the country India, then the tax rate is, it has got area and all those things will be written here. Then the tax rate is suppose 12. Then I have thousands of such properties which have to be which have to be sold from various countries. So I have second property which belongs to USA, and then as we know its tax rate is 18. So here for India the tax rate is 12, for USA it is 18. Like this another property I have from India. Now again what I will have to do? Again I'll have to write 12. So what do we see here? We see that here there is a redundancy. Why there is a redundancy? Because there is one more functional dependency, that tax rate depends only on country. So if we look at this example, tax rate should be dependent. It is not dependent on the property ID, it is dependent on the country name. So tax rate can be determined only by the country name. We do not have to understand which property. So tax rate is not differing lot by lot. So whenever the country is same, the tax rate will be same, even though the plot may differ. So knowing this fact, we know that the tax rate is not fully functionally dependent on the combination of values, but it is dependent only on the country name. So since tax rate is not fully functionally dependent on this composite primary key, that's why we have to separate this tax rate, because that is going to create a problem later. Fine. So whenever we apply any formulae, you may not understand its importance there. We have to blindly follow the formulae because they have been evolved after a lot of research and after solving many case studies based on that principle. So here you must know that when the rule of normalization says that the attribute which is not fully functionally dependent on the combination of values, it must be separated, then you should blindly follow that, because if you don't follow that rule, then definitely there will be problems in your table. So anyway, so let us understand to separate this tax rate. But as yesterday I told you, this tax rate cannot be cut simply, because normalization is not a process of just cutting. It is a process of logical decomposition. So when we decompose, we should see to it that the information which is there in that relationship shouldn't be lost. So tax rate is dependent on the country name. So while we separate tax rate and country, when we want to separate tax rate, we have to also take a country name along with that. So we'll be storing it in separate tables, tax rate and country name. But then what about the remaining attributes? Is it that country name we should remove from the first group? No. If we remove it, we will not understand that a particular property belongs to which country. So hence to have that logical dependency or relationship between the two tables, even after decomposing, it should be possible that after joining this table, we should be getting the proper values. So here what we are doing, we are in the first group, we are considering property ID, country name, lot ID, area and price. So as per the second normal form, only this tax rate was disobeying, or it was not following the rule for second normal form, that it was not fully functionally dependent on the combination of these two, hence it had to be separated. So this was as per the second normal form. I hope it is clear to you. Now let us try to understand the third normal form. The third normal form talks about the transitive dependency. So what is mean by transitive dependency? Here, while understanding third normal form, let me take you to my PPT because it will be more clear. So here, third normal form talks about two rules. A relation schema R is in third normal form if whenever a functional dependency exists. What functional dependency? The example is X determines A. That means A is functionally determines on X. Then the third normal form allows two things. One, that X is a super key of R. That means this should be a super key of R, the left hand side, or the right hand side should be a prime attribute of R. If one of these hold true, then the relations or the table is considered to be in third normal form. So let us try to understand the example. Again, I will take you back to my Word file. Yes. So here we can see, after separating this tax rate and country name, now we understand this lots 1 is in the second normal form. So we have to understand whether it is in third normal form. So in the third, as per the rules of third normalization, we have to see what are the functional dependencies that exist in this table. There is one functional dependency exists, which is FD1. What is that functional dependency? That means the country name, lot ID, area and price, they all are dependent on the property ID. This is one functional dependency. Then we have to understand what is the other functional dependency. Other functional dependency is this country name and lot ID together. They functionally determine property ID, area and price. Okay, fine. So this functional dependency is also fine because the country name and lot ID, they are the super keys. So these three are the super keys. Fine. So the functional dependency which arises from the super key is allowed as per the third normal form, isn't it? Now let us understand there is one more functional dependency. What is that? Here we have to do one more assumption, that in these properties, the price is fixed for a particular area, whatever may be the country. So here we have to read that assumption. the assumption says, yeah, area, yeah, here is the assumption. I wanted to read it for you. Hmm. Anyway, somewhere I had read it yesterday, but now let me repeat it. That this area here, yeah, let us try to understand that the price of a particular lot is fixed, or it is fixed for a particular area. So to learn this or to understand this example, let us try to take some attributes so that you understand. So I will take some, again the same table here. I will take the same property ID, but instead of country name, I will take area. Okay, you may have to rejoin today, huh, students, just for today, because I want to complete this this explanation. So we'll take one more. So after country name, here I have area, and then here I have price. So here I have area, that is, suppose if the area is 1.2 acres, the price is suppose fixed, that it is something around 12 lakhs. And then there is 1.3 acres. The area is 18 lakhs. Just dummy. Don't try to actually analyze or understand that. Anyways, here you can see that the, okay, we will take 1.2 only. So even if it is in USA, we know that as per our assumption, the price is fixed for the area, whatever country it may be in. The tax rate differs, but area is fixed, or it is dependent on the, sorry, the price is dependent on the area. So even if in India, whether we take it in India or whether we take it in any other country, so even if it is, suppose the country is UK, and even if in UK we take the same area, the price is going to be same. So here the price depends on the area. Price depends on the area, it doesn't depend on the country. So here, when we have one more functional dependency, that the price does not depend on the property ID, the price is unique for every area. So the moment area changes, the price will change. Otherwise, for the same area, the price is going to be same. So here we see that there is one more functional dependency from area to price. Let us try to analyze this functional dependency, whether it fits in the third normalization. What does third normalization rule says? That if such functional dependency exists. So to understand this functional dependency, let us name this area as X, and that determines A. So which is X here? Area is X, and which is A? Price is A. So when such scenario exists, as per the third normal form, the rule says X should be a super key, or A should be a prime attribute. So here our X is A and A is price. Is X a part of super key? No. Only these three attributes are the super keys. And whether A is a prime attribute? No. So none of these two rules are valid here. So that's why this particular relationship or functional dependency is not what you can say, it is not fit, or it doesn't follow the rules of third normalization. And hence, to bring this table into third normal form, we have to separate this functional dependency. So how to separate this? Just decompose. So this price and area have to be decomposed. So what we have done in the third normal form here, you can see that we have to separate this price. So we have separated area and price. But that doesn't mean we have removed area from here, because we want for each property what is the area, that value we want. So this particular lots 1A, which is decomposed further into these attributes, this is in third normal form. Now this is as per the third normalization, that these both functional dependency hold for third normal form. Now what is BCNF? BCNF is a stricter form of third normal form. So let me take you to my let me take it to the next normal form here. So for this, I'll take you to my PPT again. So we have to understand that BCNF follows the rule. First of all, we have to understand that every next form is in the previous form. So every 2NF is already in first NF. Every relation which is in third normal form, it must be in second normal form. Every Boy's Codd normal form which is there, it must be in third normal form, but the reverse will not be present. That means what is the additional quality that BCNF requires? BCNF requires one more quality, that, okay, it is not shown in this slide, so let me take you back to the Word file only. Yeah. So for that, we have taken one more assumption. What is that assumption we have taken? We have assumed that these lots belong to only two countries. One is DEKALB and Faltun. So this assumption we have considered to understand BCNF, that these properties belong to only two countries, DEKALB and Faltun, as per your textbook. So suppose when these areas or these properties or lots are belonging to only these two countries, there is one more assumption what we are doing, that each of the plot is of a particular area. So, and then that also plot depends on the country name. For example, all the lots in the country DEKALB. So here we see, yeah, we have to understand here. All the plots in the country DEKALB are of the size 0.6, 0.7. So they are ranging from 0.5 or maybe from 0.1 acre to 1 acre. To 1.0 acre. So up to 1 acre, whichever lots are there, that means all small plots, they belong to which country? DEKALB. And the plots which are there in the bigger size, they all belong to Fulton. Why it is so? This is just the assumption we are doing to understand this particular normal form. So here we have to understand one more assumption, that when we know the plot size or when we know the area, we will definitely understand that it belongs to which country. So there is one more functional dependency exists here. What is that functional dependency? We have shown it as by FD5, that the area determines the country. The moment we come to know the area, we will be able to understand in which country that particular plot belongs to. So this functional dependency area, which determines country name, this functional dependency we have to analyze whether this is fit for being in the third normal form. So what was our definition for third normal form? When this functional dependency holds. So here in this case, what is our x? In this case, our x is area, which determines A. A means what? Which determines country name. So in this case, our area is X and A is country name. So as per the third normalization rule, this X should be a super key. So is area a super key? No. So the first condition becomes false. What is the second condition? A. A is country name should be a prime attribute. So whether it is a prime attribute or whether yeah, it is a prime attribute, yes, as we know that these three attributes are the prime attributes, which property ID, country name and lot. So since this second rule it obeys, hence this particular table is considered to be in third normal form. Since there is a time up now, hardly 2 minutes are remaining, I want you students to join once again for the meeting so that we'll finish BCNF. So please join once again now.